Longevity is not one thing. It's not a pill. It's not something you do once a year, or like, all of these people, like they go, oh, new year, new me. And then, no, longevity is every day.
Welcome to the Almost Forever podcast. My name is Renee Fitton.
I'm Melanie Murphy-Richter.
And we are longevity dietitians. We meet to explore the newest trends and the oldest ways in longevity, healthy aging, health span, and everything in between.
We are hoping to give you science-backed and tangible, easy to grab ways to live your best life for as long as possible.
We also do a little segment called Myth or Method.
Yes. Would you like to dive into today's? Okay.
You're giving it to me, right?
I am. Renee usually shoots them over to me, but I'm going to give this one to Renee today. Okay. TikTok is blowing up. Dry scooping.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Is it dangerous? And is it a myth or method?
Okay, so dry scooping is essentially it's kind of what it sounds like. It is the use of primarily pre-workout powder without any water, just like going in dry.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
If you're just listening to the audio, I have lots of faces happening. That sounds terrible. Why?
Yeah.
Like, for what reason?
So the logic that is being touted as the reason why somebody would do this, and this is specifically true for pre-workout, because let me also just add that people are also now doing this with like protein powder and creatine and other powders, just going in dry. But this really started with pre-workout, and there was some, I don't want to call it logic because it's not, but there was some moderate level of methodology
towards her
my
suggestion.
Right.
Yes.
What the science says. So caffeine is absorbed much quicker and will hit you faster from when it is absorbed in your mouth.
Interesting. Okay.
And they've actually found this. They did research with like people chewing caffeinated gum, and they found that it just really quickly was absorbed. And so the logic is you just dry scoop this pre-workout that is really high in caffeine into your mouth. You're going to get that caffeine faster. Whether or not that is true in practice, what we actually see with people that are doing this, especially with the pre-workout, is that they are getting cardiac arrhythmias because they're just...
It's too fast. It's too fast.
It's too much. And that's not how they're meant to be used. I mean, there's already so much caffeine and so much in those pre-workouts. You don't need it faster than that. But yeah, I mean, you got to kind of trust the way that the people who are making this pre-workout designed it to be made. And on the back, it literally says like mix with water, right? Mm-hmm. So on top of that, we're also seeing that people who are doing this have essentially they're burning their esophagus.
I mean, I think that it's kind of crazy we have to explain this to people. I'm sorry. Is this not crazy?
I actually am going to give some benefit of the doubt, because unfortunately, this is the world that we live in now. Like
biohacking
you
to the
listen
max.
to social media, and you want to trust the people who are telling you these things, and they're like, oh, I've never felt better in my workout. I actually haven't seen this. This never came across my desk until it came across my desk just recently for the podcast, and I was like, whoa, this is just. I don't get it. But I also, think about all the other crazy things that we're seeing. But I also want to just add one more note here, because when we talk about things like dry scooping creatine or dry scooping protein powder, those are not high caffeinated, right? So then the question is, what's the purpose of dry scooping those? And there is not really one.
Protein does not get absorbed in the mouth at all. So there's no point in doing this. Like literally it needs the hydrochloric acid, the very acidic nature of our stomach to break down. There's no point in doing it this way with protein powder, I imagine. And the only thing that your mouth does to fats is just melt it. So it's not actually being absorbed, just melts fat in your mouth, which helps to prepare it for the stomach.
But again, it doesn't, we don't even know if it really works, because all of that is based off of mechanistic findings. So yeah, we know that this caffeinated gum increases absorption, but like no studies have been done. Well, the final thing that I want to note, and this becomes now true for protein, creatine, and pre-workout, is that you put dry powder in your mouth. Like everybody, I think anybody who
Ouch.
has like done the saltine cracker challenge or whatever.
gosh.
Like it's like, oh, where does it go? You can aspirate that powder down the wrong pipe, and that also is problematic in a big way, and can cause pneumonia and things like that too. So, I mean, if I don't,
if you do it too often.
if I have not convinced you by this point, I mean, I give up, because this is, to me, this is without a doubt a myth, and please stay away.
Yeah, great. Also, man, caffeine's already jolty enough with water swallowed normally. So
the recommendation was like, if people specifically with relation to pre-workout really wanted to try and get a little bit more caffeine in their oral mucosa, aka in your mouth, right? What you can do is you can mix it with water as it is intended, and then just swish it in your mouth
and hold
a
it
little bit.
sublingually underneath your tongue for a couple seconds. Yeah, that's absolutely a way
with
to do that.
water though.
Yes,
not
with water.
dry, please.
Yeah. The answer is this is a myth. Dry scooping is a myth. But we had such a wonderful conversation with Josephine Musco. She's on our show not only talking about microplastics, nanoplastics, but also all sorts of basic but seemingly novel concepts that really get us back to our longevity roots. She also has an incredible ancestral lineage that she's paying homage to with all of her incredible work.
Yeah, she just kept coming with more and more things that she's done.
Right.
And as an entrepreneur, I was impressed.
Yeah.
So
Don't stop a woman with a mission and a drive. We will move mountains, and I'm very excited to see what she has to what's upcoming for her. So thank you to Josephine for being on our show, and we're very excited for you to tune in.
check it out.
Welcome to the Almost Forever podcast. We are very lucky to have Josephine Musco here with us today. She is a very interesting person, holds 2 patents, but she also, I think one of my favorite parts is that you tie all of this in with your ancestral wisdom. Your patents are on helping to justify, if you will, your grandfather's work in olive leaf biocompounds. You do so much work on teaching us about microplastics and the impact of microplastics on our body and health. And we're really happy to have you. Welcome, Josephine.
Thank you so much for having me. I know you have the option to have a lot of interesting guests, so I'm very honored to be here.
You were very much on the top of the list. So
you.
we're excited to dig in and explore a little bit more about what you're passionate about. And that takes me to our favorite first question, which we ask as, what is the hill that you will die on in terms of longevity? What does that mean? What is something that you feel like everybody needs to know that they don't yet know, or maybe aren't giving enough credit to?
I think one of the main things, and I've always stood up by, is that longevity is not one thing. It's not a pill. It's not something you do once a year, or all of these people, they go, oh, new year, new me. And no, longevity is every day. It's every second of your life. It's how you wake up, is how you go to sleep, is how you prioritize your food, your water. So that's something that people need to really be more mindful of. You can have all the pills you want, and you can have all the treatments you want, which, by the way, I don't do any. Very minimalistic. Yeah. But if you don't live a healthy life, as in you're not eating whole foods, you're not drinking proper water, and I'm a water snob. And if you don't have a healthy environment you're in, and I'm talking about emotionally and spiritually, there's one thing called stress, and you can be doing all the modalities of longevity you want in the world that are available to you. And if you are in a constant state of stress, it's like dumping everything.
It all adds up. And I mean, it is an everyday challenge for most of us to make sure that we're staying on top of that. Is there one thing that has really stood out for you, maybe personally, that has felt especially important?
Right now, I'm really prioritizing not having any stress in my life, because I've felt the most sensitive to, if I'm in stress, I cannot operate.
Yeah.
And that's obviously there's good stress and there's bad stress, and I'm talking about the bad stress, and that I've been eradicating it from my life. Anybody or anything that brings me stress, I just take it out of my life.
That's tough to do.
What are your top tips? Tell us. How are you doing that? We all need to do it. Do you have any tips for us? And just to clarify, by the way, good stress meaning like exercise. Good stress, sometimes fasting can fall into that category. But what a bad stress meaning? What for you?
People. Usually it's people.
Yeah. Bad energy.
People around you. If you have, a partner that's stressing you, any family member, a friend that's bringing you, like there are friends that drain you, just like there are friends that replenish you and really uplift you. There are friends that do the opposite. And I think that our partners are the most important people in our lives, and the way they perceive us, the way they treat us every day really reflect on our daily life and our professional life and our success. So
I think that's so important because we talk a lot about community and longevity, right? And how important community is. And so I think there could be this drive for people to just take what they get, like the people that are around them, they're like, well, it's better than nothing. Yeah. But it's just as important that you're finding the people that are giving you that positive fuel.
Or relationships that you've had for a long time and you're like, well, they've just been a friend of mine forever. We grow. Sometimes we grow out of people. It's a conversation for another time. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
On this topic-ish, can you tell us how were you able to get into the USDA with these patents, with this information? Tell us a little bit about that story.
I met one person from the USDA, and she was an amazing support. She took me on like a protege, basically. And she was like, okay, listen, if you want to get the CREDA agreement, which is when the government gets, right out of college, by the way, out of college. She said, if you want to get the CREDA agreement, which is when the government actually finances your studies, they support you, they give you like some type of financial support, you need to do a lot of research to convince this massive board that comes from DC like several times a year to Berkeley. And they look at all of these proposals and then they decide who they want to grant to give the grants to. And I was like, okay. And of course, I'm a total nerd. I'm like a complete nerd. So I went to work. And when it was time to do the meeting, I came prepared and I convinced them that there is value in what I wanted to study. And they gave me the CREDA agreement. And I worked very hard. Yeah, I was working 6 days a week, 8 to like 4 or 5. I didn't even take a lunch break because I was this young
and
girl.
hungry.
But there's a lot of companies that try to work with the USDA, and there's a lot of big fish that's trying to work with the USDA. So I had to fight very hard to keep my financing going, to keep my project open. A lot of people wanted to shut it down at certain times. I'm like, oh, whatever, this girl, we can just shut her. I was like, no. So every time they tried to shut it down, I just came with more information and more proof that this should keep going. And eventually, I got the patent. And the scientists that were working with me, one of them specifically, wrote me a letter that I still have. I actually should frame it, thanking me because he's been a scientist for over 20 years. This was his first patent.
Wow.
So thanking me for including him on my patent, which was massive. And I think consistency, perseverance, not giving up, knowing that you can do it and putting in the work gets you anywhere.
Gets you what you need
far.
And
Yes. Showing up gets you very far.
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit more about what you did study and what the patent was for. Can you share a little bit more about, what all this work went into?
Yeah, so my first patent was on the olive leaf. So my father believed that all human beings' ailments remedies are found within Mother Nature. I grew up with this,
I agree,
just engraved in my head, in my everyday. And olive leaves, and the olive tree specifically, had a very special place for him. But olive leaves were something that he used a lot. So he would boil them and clean our wounds, or give it to my grandma to regulate her blood sugar. And it was this thing that he always believed in. So I was like, okay. He passed away before I could graduate with my master's. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do something to honor his life. And that's kind of what sparked my whole pursuit of the USDA and getting this study going. And so I went and studied, I think there are 72 varietals of olive trees.
Wow.
I studied them all to see which one tastes the best, because some of them taste very bad. And then what time of the year was the best to harvest the leaf where there is the highest phenolic activity in there, and which was actually the best time to get those leaves, which is pruning and harvesting, which is when there is the most bio waste from the egg. And then I took those leaves, so the best trees at the best time of the day, because there are times of the day where there is higher antioxidants in the yes. And then I took those and I ran them through a process, that's the patented process, to stimulate the production of antioxidants in those leaves, to even make them higher antioxidants.
After you had picked them off of the tree?
Yes.
Wow.
So we stimulate the production of antioxidant hydroxytyrosol, and then we stabilize those antioxidants. So because antioxidants deplete very fast with air, light, whatever, all the environmental conditions deplete them fast. So we wanted to stabilize them, so when the end consumer gets them, they truly have the antioxidant capacity that we are claiming they do. And so I was able to do that. That is the patented process. And what I came up with was a bright green powder, super similar to matcha green tea, but it doesn't have any of the caffeine, doesn't have any of the lead, because we know that matcha has.
Oh my gosh, I've had 2 matchas today.
Well, have one. Have one. It's okay. One is okay, but we can another episode.
Yes, we will.
And so that was my first patent, a beautiful bright green powder. I wanted to bring that powder to people, and I'm like, how do I deliver this powder to people without losing the integrity? So I went and looked at the K-cups, and I was like, oh my God, plastic, and with the heat. So I started zeroing in into I'm talking 12 years ago. I started zeroing in onto microplastics, and I'm like, whoa, all of these delivery methods that are bringing us coffee and tea are loading the bodies with micro nanoplastics. I bought tea bags, I studied them, I bought everything. And so I needed to invent something that was not done before.
You were unsatisfied with the options before you.
You've brought up a lot about the phenolic compounds and the antioxidants. Can you share a little bit, just for our listeners, like, why is this so important that we are being mindful about our antioxidant intake? What is it important for?
It is like the most underused anti-aging longevity thing we can put in our body. They are free radical scavengers, so they go in. Free radicals happen from toxins from daily use, and wear and tear.
You can't really get away from them
all the time.
Eating creates free radicals in your body.
Energy production, just like creating.
When you go to the gym, when you work out, you're gonna have free radicals. So antioxidants attach to free radicals, and they help the body get rid of them. So they don't create cellular aging, premature cellular aging, inflammation. And so they're great to keep us young on a microcellular level.
Please tell us the story behind your teas too, because I feel like you have a lot of familial stories that have blended into the creations that you've brought to the market. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, I mean, except from the olive leaf, there is the kids tea. This one is very dear to my heart because this one, my daughter created it, and she actually drew the pouch. This is all her art. When she was 7, by the way, she gets very mad at me if I say that she do it. And I have to try to shy that she was 7 years old.
She was younger than she is now. Her skills have improved since.
Although I think it's the cutest thing.
It's got great color
it is great.
balance.
So this pouch is actually fully compostable, and she kept it intentionally mostly white because she said not all the kids like specific colors, so the kids can color it themselves and make it their own with their own preferred colors. It's made with butterfly pea flower, and butterfly pea is a nervous system regulator, so it's great for kids. It's sweetened with monk fruit, so there's no sugar spike. And it's strawberry lemonade. So it's made not only for the kids to enjoy their tea, but also to replace the juice box, because juice boxes, they're so small. It's almost like a third of that juice box is sugar. So this is supposed to go in their usable water bottle and give them that juice box alternative that's actually good for them, and it's a nervous system regulator. And the other thing is that if you put lemon in it, it changes in color, so it's blue naturally.
Oh, that's so fun.
And then it becomes purple and pink, and we add a little bit of pixie dust in there. There's a little glitter in there.
Oh, amazing. So you can have the olive leaf and I'm going to have that one.
Yes, please. Yes, please. That's so much fun. We talk a lot about, I just mentioned that our producer and I both have sons that are around the 1 year mark, and we talk a lot about how food and consuming food should also be enjoyable and fun and playful. So that makes me happy. That makes me very happy.
Don't
As
give
adults,
them
we
that
can
tea.
also
We
have
should
fun,
also
and we can be
having
playful.
fun.
So
Yes.
heck yeah, it's not just for kids.
Don't give them this tea, because they're gonna be
So calm and relaxed.
they're gonna be so hooked, and they're gonna want to, mommy, get me the tea again. It happens with all my girlfriends. I give them one tea and then they're like, no,
They're
I have
obsessed.
to buy the tea. I'm like, well, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly. You should be giving one free bag to everybody, and then you'll
That's what I do.
Hook them in.
get them when they're young, as they say.
So should we pour this incredible tea, which it comes in strips. So
Yes.
it kind of looks a little bit like.
So I touched a little bit on the delivery methods that were available on the market when I came up with my powder, and they were all loaded with plastic, and they load our bodies with plastic, because what happens is, so tea bags, if we look at a tea bag, when you were little, did you ever make like these paper boats and put them in water?
Sure.
What happens to them?
Planes, yeah.
No, but the paper boats, when you put them in water, what happens?
They
They fall
disintegrate.
apart, right? Disintegrate. So what tea bags are made from paper per se, but if you put a paper in water, and especially hot boiling water, it will disintegrate. So tea companies have to layer those tea bags with some plastic, some PLAs, a little cocktail of toxins and chemicals to make it bright white. There's bleach, there's epichlorohydrin, there's all kinds of stuff in your tea bag. And when you put it in hot boiling water, all of these toxins will release. I've been drinking plastic in our tea for a long time.
Amazing. Willingly. Dang.
Exactly, not unknowingly. Willingly, but unknowingly.
Yes.
So I invented the tea strip, and it's made from the ground leaves, like we talked about, the leaves, the olive leaves, and it dissolves completely in water. So you don't have a carrier, you don't have any toxins. There's nothing that's not meant to be in our body that's going in your cup.
Yeah. Do you get additional antioxidants with this because of the strip itself?
You are taking the whole leaf. So you're taking the fiber, which is a prebiotic, which is great.
Yeah, it's also in a pressed form. It almost looks like should we let's open it. Please open one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, smell this.
Oh, it smells like fairies.
That is good. Let me smell it.
It smells like olive oil.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's very earthy. This
Okay.
one is pure olive leaf.
Okay, so they come in these strips.
Right.
Individualized by little, these paper, I'm assuming?
Yeah, parchment paper, yeah.
And then
Oh, twins.
yeah.
You're going to take a
We
spoon.
might need a little spoon.
Yeah,
Okay.
and stir it.
Whenever we get them.
I would love to talk a little bit more about what you have seen with people who have potentially switched from their typical usage of tea bags. Has there been any noticeable change or improvements, or what are you seeing?
Right now, we are starting to do studies on switching these people's tea bags to tea strips, but you need a certain amount of time before you can see the the difference.
Longitudinal studies.
Yeah, and
to
also
see.
you have to make sure they're not changing any other habits. It's a very complex thing.
The joy of nutrition research.
Yes, so you girls know.
Yeah.
What I see is people when they see it, they're like super shocked.
Yeah.
Like what? Like they can't. They're like, how have we been drinking tea out of a tea bag our whole life? So when I bring this product to people, when they actually see it, when there is visibility on the product, it gives them like a huge aha moment, and a lot of people just become loyal customers for life. Like we have a lot of subscription customers, and they really like it. They like the experience. They like the fact we have a lot of the active people, like hikers, bikers, campers.
So easy to throw it in a bag.
They don't want to carry a soggy tea bag in their pocket.
Yeah, leave no trace when you're on the trails.
Exactly.
Tell me, do you have to, usually when I've drunk tea before, there's what we call seeping, where you have to let it sit for a while. Do you have that, a similar thing? It's just ready to go?
Yeah, and within seconds, and you will have the same.
Cheers.
Would you like to have some with
I am enjoying your guys' experience. We're gonna have some now.
It's delicious. It smells, by the way, you're not in this studio, but it smells heavenly in here.
Yeah. And mine truly tastes like almost candy-esque. It's so good. Like I would have this for dessert.
Hold on. That's actually...
It is the most popular one in the office. Like everybody at works with me.
Do a little switch.
That's their favorite one. So
yeah. Well, I think mine has polyphenols in it too. Right?
Yes, yeah. From the bright blue flower.
That's
okay. This is like you could drink this all day.
Yeah.
What's the caffeine like in these?
There's no caffeine.
No caffeine.
No, these are naturally caffeine free. Yeah.
Which is very important for me because I know I just said that I had 2 matchas, but I really try and limit my caffeine intake.
She's like, after the 2 matchas.
After the 2 matchas, the huge matchas.
Yeah. No, we had to prepare for you, and I was up all night. I was like, tell me everything about Josephine.
Yes. So I'm curious. You started down this while we sip our tea and enjoy this incredible conversation. I'm just curious. You kind of stumbled into, it seems like, the nanoplastic, microplastic epidemic that we're in. This is a big, I think we were kind of speaking about this not long ago, that it's going to happen. Like you can't be completely without, it's just the way that our world is. It's not having any is really hard to do. Do you have any tangible advice outside of making like obviously better swaps for things that we have access to that you would suggest for people to minimize or reduce their risk of nano and microplastic exposure?
They are like top offenders, which is when plastic interacts with heat.
Yes.
So you're talking about cooking utensils and to-go food containers.
Cutting
and those,
boards.
by the way, are plastic. The plastic is black. Those are made from recycled electronics. So these, on top of plastic, they also have a lot of heavy metals. So I would stay away from plastic, especially the black cooking utensils and to-go the food boxes. The second one I would get rid of is the to-go cups, like your Starbucks. So, bring your ceramic mug or your stainless steel mug. Cutting boards obviously are a big one, but I would also really emphasize those pods that people put in their dishwasher because those are, this is like a plastic pod, and that plastic is going nowhere but on your plates and utensils, and you're basically ingesting it back. Then we go to toothbrushes. Toothbrushes are made from plastic, so I would move to like bamboo or boar bristles. Bed sheets. So, when we sleep, we're supposed to rejuvenate and replenish. And when we are surrounded with toxins, so if your bed sheets are polyester, if the stuffing of your pillow is polyester, the duvet stuffing, your mattress, the mattress is much more hard, but what I do is I get an organic cotton topper with downfill, so like feather, and I like to use organic cotton for my sheets. I like them white too, and or linen, organic linen. So that's really important. I don't like carpets. Carpets are a big offender because every time you step on them, you're really, the friction is causing those microplastics, nanoplastics to fly in the air, and you're inhaling them.
There's also off gases too, right? When you first get a piece of furniture or rugs, and then you open it out of the plastics, it does what we call, isn't it called off gassing, where it releases into the air, which is why you should keep your doors and windows open when you first get something delivered to your house.
That's why it's important to buy from like artisans, smaller businesses, people who are doing things by hand, who care about the quality of what they're putting in.
I think that thankfully now, because there's a lot of talk about, wow, the environmental load of microplastics out there right now is just outrageous. And so I'm hearing more and more companies coming out with product that is microplastic free. So
there's also another one that's very important, is the pads and tampons. And those have
been coming under fire for sure.
Those are close to our most like sensible parts, and the absorption is super high there. So it's very important for all the girls to be mindful of that and switch to organic cotton ones, and make sure it's organic. Like email the companies and ask them questions.
Yes, and especially when you have your vaginal canal is actually incredibly absorbent. I mean, you can, anything you put in your body that way is going to be absorbed even faster, like by tenfold. Don't quote me on that, but it's a lot. That's an important message for sure.
Well, it does kind of bring up a couple questions for me. One being, what can we do to really like make a change? And I think so much of the microplastics are coming from environmental waste out there, like all of the plastic that we just are producing and using all of the time. At the end of the day, like that's policy regulation that we have to.
To answer your question also, it's very important for people to be aware, like, yes, you cannot, and this is not about like fear mongering or whatever. This is about being conscious, taking choices, preventing bioaccumulation. So the things we have control of, let's take control of them. Let us not allow these microplastics to be in our life if we can take them out of our life, like these simple, very simple, easy daily habits, daily items that we can just swap.
It's gonna take a long time to parse through all the places in your daily life, but I do think that it is important to know I find it empowering as a dietitian. I teach people this all the time too, that we vote with our dollars. But companies will eventually respond if the masses stop buying a certain type of food or demanding something different. Yes, it's a longer road, and yes, it should come from the top down, but we shouldn't feel powerless. And I think that that's a really important message, that there are ways that we can vote with our dollars and start cleaning out slowly but surely. Yes, it's going to take some time, but eventually we'll get into our makeups, we'll get into the cleaning supplies, we'll get into all of these things that we know
makeup
can
is another big one. Skincare.
Yes, and we're putting so much, females especially, how many hundreds of chemicals a day on our skin.
I don't use skincare. I don't put creams on my skin.
With skin like that?
That's how the secret
yes,
is
please.
How you eat.
Oh yeah.
Heavy. I don't eat any carbs. I'm not trying starting my day with carbs. I avoid sugar, like my life depends on it. Heavy protein, heavy fiber. I eat the rainbow, like you mentioned before. And like Mediterranean diet, I eat lentils. I'm not like scared of carbs, but I always make it a point to start my day with protein.
Okay, well, I would like to ask you a little bit more about you're quite vocal about things that you're like, this is really good, but you're also vocal about the things that are not so good. So what are some of the wellness or longevity tips that are out there right now that you would tell people to skip?
Oh, I'm gonna get attacked on this one. Listen, I'm a minimalist. Okay, I like doing things that work, but I do one or two things that work, and I'm not like here taking
poly supplementation,
100 pills a day, because that's just expensive. Again, to go back to the question, it's very important overall to be very mindful when you are shopping for longevity products, to go to reputable sources, buy from companies who are doing the research, who are doing their third-party testing, who are able to give you, when you email them, they're able to respond to you, they're able to give you CFAs, they're able to answer your questions, and not just jump on the trend and buy anything that's on the market, especially those face masks. They're very, really close to your face, and they can really be detrimental to your looks.
One of the things that I tell people who work with me is are you familiar with the Environmental Working Group, the Skin Deep app?
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this, do you use that at all for?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. Yeah. The Environmental Working Group Skin Deep app is a website that you can visit, and you can put in any of your cosmetic brands, your cleaning brands, anything that you are wanting to see, and it rates it based on its toxic level on a variety of different toxic profiles. So I love using that. If I'm researching a new mascara or a new face wash, like what is the toxic level, and they'll give you suggestions on ones that are better for you. So I feel like that kind of takes a lot of the.
And now they're also doing it with food too, so you can scan food products.
Environmental Working Group is?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
So I mean, they were doing that like quite some time ago too. So and then they also have their Clean 15, or is that what it is? Their top 12
of cosmetics.
Foods. So there's the Dirty 30, and there's Dirty 10 or whatever, or something.
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Dirty Dozen, and so they're like your blueberries.
Right. The things that if you are going to invest in organic food, those are the ones that you should invest in.
Prioritize them.
And usually berries are one of the harder ones, because you can't peel them, right? I mean, if
oranges, avocados,
exactly, you can peel back the part that's been connected is not the right
And by
word,
the
but-
way, fruits and vegetables are another thing, especially when they're growing like in bushes or, soil level with microplastics. Because the soil is so contaminated.
And there's other reasons to eat fruits and vegetables in season too,
course,
right?
of
And
course.
so, I mean,
Because we're meant to. Because that's
Right.
when the sun is right for us to absorb our nutrients. And
It is the cheapest and most nutritious way to consume fruits and vegetables if you're consuming them in season. The reason for that is that you don't have to cart them from a different country, pick them before ripeness, have them travel all the way to you. Also, when they're grown in season, they're more nutrient dense anyway. So
and get them from the farmer's market.
exactly. And they're going to be cheaper, naturally going to be cheaper that way.
yeah. Okay. Well, I would love to shift gears a little bit because on top of creating your tea strips, you're an entrepreneur in many ways, including a winery. Is that right?
That is correct.
Which is so tell us a little bit about that. And also, I mean, just from what I understand, you're not a big drinker yourself. So
I don't
I'm
drink.
curious how somebody who's a non-drinker ends up creating a winery.
There was this piece of land that's like 23 acres, beautiful land with these old brick buildings, and we fell in love with it.
Where is it?
It's in the Bay Area. It's in
Okay,
Livermore.
okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna build a house here. So bought the land. Turns out the vineyards were 70 years old, heirloom vineyards, transported from like Germany and France and whatever. So like the most beautiful grapes, and they're dry farmed. Dry farmed means the grape has to work extra hard to create, the vine has to work extra hard to create the grapes. So the grape is very high in minerals. The flavor profile is just insanely good.
Would Chardonnay fall into that category of grape that needs like dry harvesting?
No, you can dry farm
Any of them?
anything. It's just called dry
Interesting.
farming.
Okay.
And it's dry
mineral.
because you're
You
not
don't water it.
You don't water it. Yeah.
It only takes what it takes from like, the rain, unless it's about to like literally die. And also the hormosis that happens from that, it creates a lot of like high phenolic like a lot of
Sure.
antioxidants in the grapes, which end up in your wine. A friend of mine came from Napa. Her name is Camille Benita. She makes 98 wines in Napa. She's one of the top winemakers. She came and she mentored me for 2 harvests. And then I brought a biodynamic farmer from France to mentor me on how to do biodynamic farming and start the whole biodynamic processes on the land. And now we're Demeter certified biodynamic vineyard and winery.
Wow.
So
You're living a dream of mine. I would love to own a winery and do biodynamic wines.
And also just like it sounds like it looks beautiful. Like it just sounds without even drinking the wine, like I just want to walk around.
Yeah.
It sounds
it's wild. It's a natural sanctuary. So there's turkeys, there's quails, there's deer, and we have my daughter. She has her ducks and chickens and goats, and we have big dogs. So it's like my little utopia. It's a place where you go and you just recharge.
Well, it sounds incredible. And as somebody who does enjoy a glass of wine or two, I'm so curious to see what it tastes like. Is that when you compare your wine as the way that you are making it with the dry harvesting and everything, how would you say that it compares to other wines out there?
Well, I'm going to add something. My winery is super small. It's 2,000 bottles a year, and everything is done by hand. I don't add any sulfites. Everything is aged in oak barrels that I source from different forests in France to complement the flavor profile of the wine. So the wine is super deep and it's very mineral, and it's just very easy to drink.
It really does sound like
That
a
sounds
utopia.
amazing.
So I'm on board.
Yes, I'm on board too. I'm there.
But
We're there.
honestly, like one of the main reasons why I decided to keep the wine thing going is because I had the option to lease it to the local wineries, which they do conventional farming. And that was a tribute to my grandfather, who did the regenerative farming, and I saw him do that. And I just wanted to do my part of preserving this little piece of land and not making it be another contaminated glyphosate, whatever, piece of our earth. So
Are you trying to maybe spread the word to get more people to kind of get on board?
It's very hard. It's extremely difficult, especially in the wine world, because nobody wants to. It's a harder way, and you don't have as much yield. Like I have less than half of what people who are doing conventional farming get.
Right.
And, farmers mostly are older, and it's like a generational thing, so they're stuck in their ways. So I'm trying very hard. It's a very slow progress.
Yeah.
We tried to do something with Erwan where we wanted them to do like a whole biodynamic section, but anyways, it's, I only have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, and you're doing a lot. I also just I want to take a moment it's so wonderful to see everything that you've touched, it seems, in your career so far has had a tie to your lineage. And I just really love that. That's all. You have your grandmother, you have your father, you have your grandmother too, I think used to do some of these, didn't she used to do some fruit strips, right? When you were young, that kind of...
Yes.
It's beautiful. I love it. Tying back.
Yeah. So looking ahead, what are you most excited for in the world of health and wellness and longevity? What do you think is coming that you are excited about?
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more talk about going back to basics. I'm seeing more Dr. Mark Hyman has been talking, Josh Axe has been talking, Dr. David Sinclair has been talking about it. And you see more people telling you to eat whole foods, go back to basics, Mediterranean diet, get good sleep, build muscle. So I'm really excited about this whole hype of over-supplementation and all the unnecessary stuff, and going back to let's just do the simple things first and see how that works out for us. And unless it's broken, don't fix it, right? So if we can just fix ourselves with food and lifestyle, that's one thing I'm really, really excited about. And I love how much social media have helped spread information and awareness on things that otherwise would be just used and status quo, like the teabag. There's so many people. I've known that 12 years ago. I have to for the record, for 12 years, I've been aware of this, but I didn't have a voice strong enough because I was a young college girl to bring that to the world. But you hear Dr. Huberman talking about it. You hear a lot of people. So it's really refreshing to see more truth coming to the surface and less hype. And obviously the hype is still going, but at least we have a platform to educate people and bring awareness. Just don't fall for the hype, and this is the truth, and this is the reality, and just
it's certainly a blessing and a curse. Social media is challenging, but I was just telling Melanie about this woman that I met at the airport just a couple of weeks ago, and I was sitting with her. She was probably in her 60s or so, and she was just telling me about how she's really just dove into this longevity journey and how she's uncovered that HRT is something that she wanted to start doing, and all these things that really just opened her eyes. And I was like, so how did you get into this? Where were you inspired by? And she said social media, and it really just slapped me in the face. I was like, okay, it's not all bad. This is bringing people the information where they're at, and then it's really just about making sure that we're all being mindful about how we filter that information.
Filtering your algorithm,
which is very hard.
Totally.
It's not hard for us because we are in that field. Engineers know what they're doing, right? Attorneys know what they're doing. We know what we're doing in that world. But when people who don't know what they're doing get all of this information, that's one of the top questions I get asked all the time is give me a list. What do I do? People are, it's bringing also a little bit of confusion. So
it sure is, especially in nutrition. Man, we get that all the time.
Yeah. That's the reason why we did this podcast was we're let's try and bring
accurate, easy, science-backed information to people where they are.
We're trying.
I know.
We're trying.
Amazing.
I'm looking at our producer because I have a feeling that we have to go to our mailbag.
Yes. So Josephine, every episode we invite our listeners to send us questions that they want answered live. So we picked our top. What is it? I think we have 3 in here.
We have 5.
Do we?
In here?
Amazing.
So I think we rapid fire these ones a little bit. Some of them you can pass and pass them back our way, and some of them you can be like, oh, me, and we'll split them that way.
Yay.
Okay, so question number 1 is, why do I keep hearing about VO2 max? How do I know what mine is, and what should I do about it? I'm happy to talk about it.
I love you guys.
I think that's going to be a you question, Renee.
Okay, really quickly. So VO2 max is essentially the efficiency at which your body can utilize the oxygen that we so desperately need. The better we can use it, the better we perform in a lot of ways. Of course, our body really needs oxygen. I think we all know that. You don't have to be a scientist to know that. But the reason why it's become so prevalent, especially in social media, and we're hearing it a lot, is because it's so closely tied to longevity. The higher your VO2 max, time and time again, we see it in a lot of studies now, you also see a equivalent increase in longevity and reduction in risk of all-cause mortality. So how do you improve your VO2 max?
Exercise.
So that is the big one. That is the big one, and specifically, it's not just any exercise. It is especially the very high intensity exercise that you have to hit on.
Hit training.
Yes, one of the biggest ones, and I think we're hearing about it a lot now, is Norwegian 4x4, and that's because it is very powerful at optimizing your VO2 max, and it's really hard, but you can do it in like under 45 minutes because you're doing 4 minutes of the highest intensity exercise that you can do, where you're going like over 90% of your max heart rate, essentially. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But you're only doing it for 4 minutes, and then you take a 3-minute break.
Which probably feels like a lifetime. I'm sure 4 minutes feels like...
That's always been part of my epigenetic protocol.
It is?
Yes.
There we go. You see?
Norwegian 4x4.
It works, guys. It works. Is it comfortable? No. But the good thing is like you're maybe doing it, twice a week.
But also when you do something uncomfortable, it grows.
Exactly. Well, weren't we just talking about neuroplasticity and all that wonderful stuff that improves as you do these things that are hard? So anyway, yes, it's important. You can totally improve your VO2 max just through high intensity exercise, and it is very strongly correlated with longevity.
Love it.
Did I answer all the questions?
Yes, that was a great answer. I love it.
Okay, fabulous.
Way to take that one. You go. I'll answer it if it's
okay. When I get together with my friends, we like to have a drink or two. Hey, we were just talking about this. It doesn't matter if it's just the girls or girls plus the husbands or girls plus husbands and the kids. If it's just part of our get-togethers. I know all studies say alcohol is bad for women in any quantity, but how should I think about my social life versus my health?
The one thing I can do is I always, when I go in somewhere, when we go to a place, I always tip the bartender and I tell him, whenever I ask for a drink, you give me a soda water with like a lime in it. Just make it look fancy so it looks like a drink. So nobody really suspects that I'm not drinking. Yeah. So you can do that.
And also, you can have just one. And that is kind of the...
But it is a toxin. And there's no safe levels of drinking. And
that is
coming from a person who makes wine, I'm just telling you, there's no safe level.
But if we're going to moderate, we could try by just having the one.
But I do love your tip of just like, when you can just kind of, you don't have to make a big deal about not drinking.
We're also living in a really wonderful time now, especially the past 5 years, where I think being dry and not drinking alcohol is a huge, it's a very cool thing.
It's in now,
and it is easier to do with friends. So maybe if it's something that you're interested in trying, clearly you're asking the question, so you're curious about it. Get your friends and family to do it for a month together as a crew.
Make it a challenge.
Make it a challenge. Yeah. See what comes of it.
And I actually was sober for 8 months, and I found that after the first month was tough. Second month was a little bit easier. And then once I got to month 3, it was like...
You figure out your groove.
No problem. Yeah. It's also just about like giving it a fair chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I didn't last past 8 months, but still.
Yeah. That's all I got to say. I love a glass of wine.
Okay. How seriously should I take the sitting rising test? I can do it, but what does that actually mean? I can take it if you guys want. Yeah. Okay, well, first maybe we should talk about what the sitting rising test is. I can't do it because I'm in a dress, but essentially you have to be able to, from standing, make your way into cross-legged, no hands. You can't even like put your hands on your knees, hands on the floor, nothing, not even an elbow, and then come back up same way, right? And So every time...
Should I try to demonstrate?
Yes,
No.
please do it.
I'm in heels. Our producer says no. Fine.
Fine.
Next time.
So every time you use one of those pieces of your body to help leverage you up or down, you lose a point, and you have a total of 10 points. So essentially, you obviously want the most points when you've gone up and down. Now, what the reason why this is important in longevity is because they have found, and interestingly, this is primarily just one group of researchers out of Brazil, actually, that have found that the people that can do this, especially over the age of 40, up and down easily with the highest number of points left, have better expected longevity. So what I do think is really important to note, though, about this is that you shouldn't just be training to do this.
That one thing.
Yeah. That's not going to make you live longer. But it is, if researchers or doctors want to kind of get a sense of where you're at in terms of your strength, your mobility, your flexibility.
It's like a litmus test almost.
Yeah, this test gives us a lot of insight really quickly into all of those things that do play into longevity.
Yeah, and I'm going to add something,
please,
to this person who's asking this question is squats is the best thing you can do. So if you are looking for longevity and things that help you, just do a few squats in the morning. So don't worry about that test. Just roll your glutes.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Like, I mean, really, like I said, the test is like, I get it.
Well, it's a trend. It's another trend.
But and it does. We do know. Yes, it is correlated, but it's not something that you should be doing every day.
Well, it's looking at agility and flexibility and all of the So there's something to be said about it. But I do agree. We had Jennifer Cohen on, and she had a very similar sentiment about squats, just doing them a couple times a day.
Yeah, we did squats.
We did squats. We continue to do squats.
Shall I continue?
Yes, you read.
Okay. I'm having fun reading all
know,
of the
this is
questions.
awesome.
Okay. I use agave in most of my recipes instead of sugar and honey because I heard it has a lower glycemic index, but I'm gaining weight. Eek. What is the healthiest sweetener to use?
Eek.
You want to take it?
I would say it's the opposite. I would say that you're better. Well, sugar not so much. Honey is a little bit better. Maple syrup's a little bit better, but you could also go with monk fruits because agave is not a low glycemic.
And try to see what sweetener works best for you. But I vote for dates.
Yeah, dates for sure.
We remember you love dates.
Dates are incredible. I would also say that not everything needs to be sweetened. I would play with maybe reducing the amount of sweetener you need at all. Yeah. I mean, our taste buds do change the more we consume, and fructose is the sweetest of all of the sugar types. So if you're eating that often, it could make your taste buds more attuned to that type of sweetness.
You need more and more and more.
So you'll need more eventually. So I would say
that's the problem with, like, I know you called out monk fruit and stevia, which by the way, I do like them because they're very non-nutritive, right? Sure. Meaning aka like no calorie, but they're super sweet. So now they get your taste buds used to additional sweetness, and so you're always hunting for that high, essentially. Yeah. So I mean, what is the best? Let's answer this question.
Which one is the best? I mean, we already said dates, which is not on the list. I also think honey and maple syrup have their own antioxidant profile as well. I think they also have some allergy fighting compounds.
Honey does, for sure. Yeah. If it's local.
Yes, if it's local honey to your region, your specific region. But yeah, sugar, not so much. I am not a big fan of agave. I say nix the agave, sorry.
I'm not a fan of agave either.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Save it for mezcal if you drink it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good marketing on the agave front. Like, it's lower glycemic. It is. It is. That is true. But that's not the only thing that's going on here. And I guess what I would like to finish it out with is that all of the sweeteners have maybe a like a reason why you may select it over another one. And so I think the question is, what are you looking for? What do you need it for? I would answer this question differently for somebody with type 2 diabetes than I would for you. So it's just different.
And play with fruits. I mean, let's just say if you're starting your day with oatmeal instead of using agave, you could use banana.
Start your day with protein.
That too. Say it louder for the people in the back.
All right. So I guess before we close this out, Josephine, is there anything that you feel like our audience should hear?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oleic Surti strips are hitting the Target shelves.
Yay!
May 8th,
Target.
10th. Yes, so we will be at Target, and I'm very excited to be bringing, and it's going to be a surprise because I'm not going to say what it is, but it's going to be a really cool surprise. I'm excited to be bringing the healthy, clean solution to the tea drinkers, to their favorite Target stores at a Target-friendly price. So very excited about that. Really
Did you
excited.
give us the date? Did I miss the date?
May 8th to 10th.
Yay.
So, with Target, because it's such a big corporation, they can give you like a spot around that
we'll
time.
take it.
Hooray.
That's coming up.
We can all have our blue butterfly tea and our olive leaf.
So good.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us,
so fun.
Josephine.
Of course.
We are so grateful
you so
for you
much for
coming
having
on.
me.
Thanks
you.
for joining us. Oh, what an incredible episode.
That was so fun.
We have so many takeaways, you guys. Number one, watch your tea bags.
Who would have thought? I mean, it is...
Honestly, I don't know that I would have thought. I mean, I think that's the thing about microplastic, nanoplastic conversation is that there's so many little tiny ways that we're accumulating them in mass amounts in our daily life. And we don't know. We don't realize. We're not cognizantly aware. So I'm very grateful to have the cognizant awareness now to be like, oh no, I'm not doing that anymore.
The good news is that we also got a lot of, takeaways of what we can do, ways to limit microplastics in our everyday, but also ways to optimize our health, our longevity. We talked about alcohol intake and how that might play into health and wellness and longevity. What else did we cover? Man, I feel like we did so much.
Oh, we did such a fun. Our guest, Josephine, told us so much about the olive leaf extracts and how important polyphenols and all of that can be for our health, which I really appreciate as a gut health dietitian who deals a lot with fungal overgrowths. I do use this, so I'm very excited to have a new product to share with my patients. But we absolutely will be going to your winery, Josephine, if you're still listening.
Yes.
Can't wait to show up on your doorstep.
I'm gonna buy some like muddy rain boots, and I'm gonna show up,
play with
ready
the
to rock. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning into Almost Forever. We will be sharing all of Josephine's information, how to get in touch with her in our show notes. I think she was hopefully going to share that beautiful paper of what to sub and what to use instead, which I'm very excited about personally. And if you liked this episode, if you found it interesting and exciting, please share, like, follow, share it with a friend, and
rate, review.
All of
One
the
day
things.
we're going to get all of these down. It's not today.
We're so grateful you tuned in. Show back soon.
Show back soon. See you soon.